She is 9. She does not know what a brokerage account is. You will not tell her yet. She knows that oranges cost more in winter, and the good shampoo stays high on the shelf. She knows the regular shampoo is what goes in the cart. She has noticed this without being told. She has noticed that you wait until the cart is full before you go to the register. She is watching everything. She has always been watching. The notebook on the table is not for her, but the rules inside it, the ones you have carried for 15 years, belong to her already. They have always belonged to her. The question is not whether you will pass them on. The question is whether you will do it before the world teaches her something else first. You are a mother, or you are a daughter who is now old enough to see clearly. You are old enough to see what your own mother was doing all those years, when the decisions looked small. You are somewhere in that decade when the architecture of your own upbringing finally becomes legible. You are 38, perhaps. You are 41. You are somewhere that makes the blueprint underneath readable at last. And you are beginning to understand that what your mother passed to you was not accidental. The way she never carried a balance. The way she paused before every purchase over $100. Not a long pause, a particular one. The way she kept a number in her head at all times. A private number she did not explain. And the number was not how much she had. It was how much she had decided she would never go below. You did not know what the number was. You did not know there was a number, but you inherited the habit of having one. That is how these rules travel. Not in lectures, not in spreadsheets printed out at the kitchen table, in the pause before the purchase, in the way a woman reaches for something and then does not reach for it. She does not reach for it and does not explain why, and moves on. You are watching all of this. Your daughter is 9. She is already learning from your pauses. She does not know she is learning. That is how it works. That is precisely how it has always worked among the women who carry this. There are 3 rules, not a curriculum, not a lesson plan. 3 things you can do. 3 things you can do before she earns her first dollar that will shape every dollar after. The rule. The first one is this. She must learn to name the difference between a price and a cost. A price is what you pay at the register. A cost is what you give up to pay it. A cost is the hour of work. The other thing you could have bought. The future of that money. The future version of that money compounding quietly for a decade, when you chose to spend it instead. A price is a number on a tag. A cost is a map of everything that number connects to. Most adults have never been taught to read the map. They see the number and they stop. You will not let her stop there. You will not stop her from buying things she wants. You will not make money feel scarce or shameful. You will do something quieter and more durable. When she holds something she wants, a toy, a dress, a game that everyone in her class already has, you will ask her one question. Not, do you need this? That question teaches her to justify desire. Justifying desire is exhausting and joyless, and does not actually build judgment. It builds performance, not discernment. You will ask, how long did it take someone to earn this? Let her hold the number, unhurried. She does not need to answer out loud. The question plants the map. The map does not disappear. You will not believe this yet. That is fine. These things take the time they take. She is 6 when she first holds money. Not coins. A $5 bill folded once, given by a grandmother who pressed it into her hand at the door without explanation or instruction. She carries it into the store. You watch her move through the aisle, differently than she has before. She picks up a small chocolate bar. She looks at the price. She puts it down. She picks up something else. You say nothing. She chooses a packet of gummy candies and a small foam eraser shaped like a star. Together they come to $4.60. She hands over the 5. She receives 40 cents. She holds the 40 cents for a long time. She has not yet been taught that it is not much. She is standing at the precise moment before the world teaches her that the amount is small. In her hand, the 40 cents is significant. It came from a 5. She chose. Something remained. You do not explain compounding interest to her in the parking lot. You say, "You still have some left." She nods. She puts the 40 cents in her pocket. She will spend it. The spending will be fine. And the fact of the remaining, the residue of a decision, will remain somewhere in her. It will remain in the place where financial instinct lives before it has a name. And then, she is 11 when she earns money for the first time. Not an allowance, an actual job. A neighbor's dog walked twice a day, $6 per walk. 3 clients by the second month. By the end of the first month, she has earned $112. She has spent 18. She has not been asked to account for the 18. You have not commented on what remains, but you have done one thing. You asked her, in the 3rd week, to write it down. Not in a ledger, not in a tracking app, in a notebook, paper, pen, her own handwriting, the date, the amount she earned, the amount she spent, the amount that remained. She resisted. She said it was boring. You agreed with her. Plainly. Yes, it is boring. It is one of the most boring things you will ever do. You will do it for the rest of your life. And the boringness is entirely the point of it. She wrote it down. She wrote it down the next week, without being asked. She kept going. She wrote it down the week after, because she wanted to see the number in the column get larger. The thing you had hoped would happen had happened. She had developed a relationship with the number. The number had become something she was curious about. Curiosity is the beginning of care. You did not praise her for saving. You did not make it a virtue. You said, "That number is yours. No one can spend it but you." She heard, "The number belongs to me. That is what you wanted." And then, she is 14 and she wants something that costs $240. She has asked for it directly, without apology, without softening. This is worth noting. This is still possible. She has not yet learned to apologize for wanting things. That window stays open 2 more years. At most. You know this. You could give her the money. You have the money. That is not the constraint. The constraint is that giving her $240 without structure will teach her something false. It will teach her that wanting and receiving are the same gesture, separated only by the asking. And if she learns that the cost of desire is a conversation, she will be 32 before she understands. She will be 32 before she understands that the cost of desire is time, your time, traded at a rate. You say this to her. You use a number she understands, your hourly equivalent. Stated plainly, without drama. She goes quiet. Not upset. Quiet in the particular way she goes quiet, when something has reconfigured behind her face. You offer her a choice. You will pay half. She saves the other half from her own work. Dog walking. Now 3 clients, supplemented by occasional hours at a neighbor's vegetable stand in the afternoons. The timeline is 6 weeks. She does the math on her own. She does not ask you to check it. 6 weeks later, she hands you $62 in mixed bills. She had gone over, slightly, on purpose, to prove something to herself that you will never fully understand, and do not need to understand. You drive her to the store. You say nothing on the way there, except to ask if she wants music. She carries the bag out herself. She does not tell her friends how she got it. Privacy. That is also something she learned. That the method of earning is a private thing. Not shame. Privacy. The rule. The second one is this. A thing earned by halves is yours in a way a gift never fully is. And then, she is 17 and she is applying to summer programs and she has started researching on her own. She has found a partial scholarship. She has written a short letter requesting it. She shows you the letter. It is good. It is more restrained than you expected. She did not inflate her need. She did not perform poverty she does not have. She stated what she had and what she was asking for. She stated what she would do with the opportunity. Plainly, without apology. You do not know where she learned this. That is a small lie. You know exactly where. She learned it from watching you, from watching closely. She learned it from the way you read contracts before signing them, from the questions you asked at the bank, questions that other people in the line did not ask, from the way you never rushed a financial conversation. She did not attend any of these moments. She witnessed them from doorways, from the back seat of the car, from the other side of a kitchen where you were on the phone and you did not lower your voice. You did not lower your voice because what you were discussing was not shameful. You had decided this early. She got the scholarship. Partial. Enough. She told you, and you nodded. And the tea was still warm. The conversation moved on. You did not say, "Look what I taught you." You will never say that. That is the most important restraint of this kind of parenting. You pass the rule without claiming it. You do not claim credit for the rule. The rule must feel like it came from inside her. The rule, by the time it matters, must feel like it came from inside her. And then, what it cost was not money. The cost of slow money parenting is patience, and something beyond patience. The genuine willingness to let outcomes arrive at the pace of actual development. You cannot rush a child. You cannot rush a child into financial judgment. You cannot shorten the distance between not knowing and knowing. You can only plant the right things and wait for them to root. I learned this late. I was 31 before I understood what my own mother had been doing. All those pauses, all those redirections, all those moments when she said nothing instead of explaining. They were a kind of architecture she was building. She was building something inside me that she knew I would not recognize until I needed it. I needed it at 34. I knew exactly what to do. I did not know how I knew. I called her that evening, from a parking lot, and I said, "You gave me this." She said, "I don't know what you're talking about. That is also something I gave you." She was right. There is a particular loneliness in this kind of passing on. You do not receive acknowledgement when the rule holds. You rarely see the moment when it roots. Your daughter will make a decision at 31. Made alone, a quiet decision, made in a place you are not, and she will not think of you when she makes it. The rule will simply fire. The habit will simply run. The map will open, and she will read it, and you will not be there to see it. And that is entirely the point. This is the weight. Not sacrifice exactly. Witness without testimony. Work without a ledger. The kind of investment without a ticker. Most parents of daughters know, somewhere, that the financial conversation matters most, and is most often deferred. Too complicated, they think. Too soon. She can learn this later. From school. From a husband. From the internet. School does not teach her that the cost of a thing is not its price. It teaches the price. A husband should not be the first person to show her how to read a contract. You should be. The internet will sell her something before it teaches her anything. This is not cynicism. It is the sequence. The window where you are her primary model, her first reader of money, is not as long as you think. She is 9 now. She is watching. The window is open. It will not stay open indefinitely. The rule, the third one, the last one, is this. Teach her what she has first. Teach her what she has before you teach her what she could have. There is a sequence to this. The entire architecture of financial aspiration is built on the gap between what exists and what is possible. That gap is useful. It motivates action. It creates the energy that builds something where nothing was before. But it also teaches a perpetual dissatisfaction with the present number, with what is already in the hand. It teaches that the current state is always preliminary, that where you are is only the beginning of elsewhere. A daughter who never learns to look at what she has, to name it, to understand it, will spend a great deal of her life in that gap, running toward the larger number, unable to land. Unable to land on any of the numbers she arrives at along the way. You will not believe this, yet that is fine. The women who are quietest about what they have, who do not post the balance, who do not describe the inheritance, who do not mention the paid-off mortgage in conversation, are very often the women who at some point learned to feel the weight of what is already there. They are not secretive because they are ashamed. They are private because the number is a private thing. And privacy is not the same as shame. Your daughter will inherit that distinction if you carry it. Or she will not inherit it, and she will learn it later, at 34. In a parking lot. On a call to a woman who says, "I don't know what you're talking about." The first rule: a price is not a cost. The second rule: a thing earned by halves is yours. The third rule: teach her what she has before you teach her what she could have. 3 rules: no spreadsheet, no course, no account to open, no lesson to schedule, no curriculum, just the pause before the purchase, the notebook left on the table, the question asked once and not repeated. She is watching. She has always been watching. She will be watching for years that you cannot predict. She is 9. She does not know what a brokerage account is. You will not tell her yet. She knows the price of oranges. She knows which shampoo goes in the cart. She knows the pauses. She knows that you pause before certain purchases. A particular pause. Not long, but deliberate. And hers. She does not know she is learning these things. That is precisely how they will last the longest. The notebook on the table will stay closed tonight. There is no lesson planned. There is only dinner. And the drawing on the corner of the table? A house with a sun. Colors chosen carefully by her, a level of intention she brings to everything she makes. She will come to the table in a few minutes. She will eat. She will ask you something you cannot predict. You will answer it honestly, the way you do, and in the answer, somewhere in the specific, ordinary weight of how you answer it, the rule will travel. She was right to watch. You were right to let her watch. And keep watching. If this found you at the right time, you know what to do.